Schock for 2 minutes.
The gentleman from Illinois is recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I thank my good friend from Dr. Fox for the time here today. At the President's first news conference after his first cabinet meeting, he addressed the nation and he said that he was asking his agency heads to come together and collectively come up with $100 million in savings that they could bring forward for this next budget year to eliminate over last year's spending. His quote was, "We've got to earn their trust." The President said they've got to feel confident that their dollars are being spent wisely. I couldn't agree with the President anymore. And so that is really what today is about. We bring forward House Resolution 5679, which is really quite simple. It says we don't need to tell the American people with propaganda signs that we're spending their tax dollars wisely. More specific, we don't need to put up road signs all over the country when we're doing paving projects at the tune of hundreds, sometimes thousands. We found signs that cost over $10,000 a piece simply to say, this is your tax dollars at work. First of all, I would suggest to you that it's an insult to the intelligence of my taxpayers to suggest that they drive by a public works project and think that anyone other than they as taxpayers are paying for it. Second, I would suggest to you that this is a dangerous precedent. Think if every unit of government, from your school board, your township officials, your state government, your federal government, put a label on everything that they were using to spend your tax dollars on. The unnecessary bureaucratic expense, the unnecessary overhead that it creates. We have found in 1 year since the stimulus bill has passed that we have spent over $20 million just on signs. The Illinois Department of Transportation in my home state has spent over $650,000 on signs. The state of Ohio reports they've spent over $1 million just on signs. Not creating jobs, not the infrastructure that was promised, not the lower unemployment, but rather a bunch of sheet metal along the road. This is not only the financially smart thing to do, I would argue it's the environmentally right thing to do. And then my friends on the other side of the aisle stand up and suggest, well, gee, you know, Aaron, it's only $20 million. The estimates, if we don't stop doing this, are that by the time the stimulus program has run its course, we will spend $192 million on these signs. Now, I don't know about you, but whether you supported the stimulus program or you voted against the stimulus program, I hope we can come together and say, you know what? At the end of the day, this $192 million, this $20 million that's already been spent, would better be spent on road projects, on filling potholes, on fixing bridges, on something that we can show for that we're going to ask the next generation of Americans to pay for. And that's all we're doing. We're saying from this day forward, you can't spend money on signs, put it into the infrastructure.